not, we just start seated. However you can get yourself to be comfortable. And just take a minute to come into your breath. In some ways, that's the nicest thing we're doing for ourselves, is just being here on the mat, in the present. So much to worry about, so much to think about, but we're going to let ourselves restore to this hour. Let's just do some very gentle neck warm-ups before we come to stronger poses. Just let your left ear go to your left shoulder. Sometimes that's plenty, just opening up those tissues that get tight on the side of the neck. If you want to assist that stretch a little bit, you can lightly place your hand and just ease it open. We don't want to do anything aggressive. And then let your gaze kind of come forward, maybe towards your knee. It's going to roll the activation to a little more into the back of the neck. And then just let the head float up. And we'll get that neck stretch on the other side. Right ear to right shoulder. Gentle assist if that feels good. And then we change our gaze, looking forward a little bit. Get some of those back tissues to open up. And we'll just let the neck, as we release, just let the neck come straight forward. Again, you're not pushing, you're just letting the weight of the skull kind of open those deep tissues in the back of the neck. Lift the chin, look up as far as it's comfortable. Activate throat. Up and down a couple of times like that. Kind of checking in with our neck. And then we can make this into a full circle with all those movements. Ear to shoulder, chin to chest, ear to shoulder. Look up, couple gentle circles this direction. And when you come to a center point, just change direction for a couple circles. Nice and slowly. So much tension in our neck and jaws, a lot of us. This is just a nice thing to do several times a day if we can. And then come back to straight spine. Chin's going to be fairly level. Let the hands come forward and interlace the fingers. And just stretch out the upper back. What you'll feel is the shoulder blades kind of coming apart. Let the back round as much as it can. And then open, let the elbows bend as if you could touch your elbows together behind. It's going to open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, forward and back like that. Yeah, just find your own pace. One of these might feel more needed than the other. Take a couple extra breaths there. For me, the shoulder blades coming together is very needed. And just rest the hands, kind of activating the spine, top to bottom. We're going to just take our hips and do those little hip circles. I think you and I have done this before. Just letting the body kind of circle around that pelvic bowl. continue in one direction. Just reverse direction. We've done 4 or 5. And come back to center. Let's take a breath. You're gonna activate some muscles in our legs that are gonna be important for the poses we're doing today. I'm gonna try to just sit with the legs straight. It's actually not so important that they're totally straight. If your spine isn't comfortable, you can just keep them soft. Lean back on your hands. We're gonna activate some muscles deep in the hip flexors, including the psoas. Now, the first thing to do is kind of weird because we're not actually going to do anything. We're going to pretend that we're lifting the right leg up, but not lift it. Just activate the top of the leg as if you're going to lift it, and just do that a couple times. That muscle you're feeling deep in the hip is the psoas, and do it to the left leg too. Just see if you can find that muscle. Pretend to lift the left leg, and then let it go. Sit up as straight as we can. If we need to lean back, we can. We're going to actually lift the leg this time. So we're going to let that right heel come off the floor, really activating that flexor with a straight leg, the knee facing up. Now consciously turn the foot out, so the foot's going to be in this little V. Toes are out. Just let it drift a couple inches in and out. And let it come down. Whoa. I really feel this. The psoas is something that just doesn't get worked unless we really make it. It certainly doesn't get worked when we're just sitting. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift the left leg off the ground, find that muscle, turn our foot out. That's an external hip rotation. And just let the foot drift out and in. These little pulses out, in, out, in. Whoa. Let it come down. You doing okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And we'll do one more like that. We're going to float that heel up. This time we're going to turn the toes in. So it's this funny inward hip rotation. You got it? And just pulse it. It's going to come almost over the other leg, but not too far. We're just feeling how the hip feels with that inward rotation. 2 or 3 times and let it go. We're going to kind of play with this inward and outward rotation, so it's good to know how it feels in our body. Toe in, left toe in, and pulse it into the center line of the body, even a little across if you can. Feeling how that feels. Let it go. Sit up and soften it. You're just going to forward bend to release those muscles for a minute. Still just warming up, so this is not extreme. It's just letting the things go in the back. Okay, let's come to our hands and knees. Now this hand-knee position, everything's neutral. The arms are straight, the hands are straight underneath the shoulders. The legs are straight underneath the hips. For most of us, that's a very neutral position. Let's try those inner outward rotations so that we feel them in this position. Let the right leg come back on the mat and float up. Doesn't really matter how high it is. Just forcing ourselves into this 3-point balance. Turn that foot out into that outward hip rotation. So if your right leg's up, the toes are going to be aiming right, and just pulse it there a little bit. So these in-out pulses. And then let the leg come back down. Same thing on the left. Float the leg up. Make sure you're balanced. Turn that hip. The toes face out. Just pulse it there. Asking our hips to work off neutral and come back down. You might expect the next one's going to be an inward hip rotation, so the right leg floats up, the toes turn in. So we're rotating that hip towards the center of the body and pulsing almost across the body in the back. Like if you looked around, you could see your foot kind of coming through. And then let your knee down, we'll do the other side. Float the leg, inward hip rotation, those little pulses. Float it down, let's just rest them with a little child pose. Let the hips come down towards the heels. The arms can be long. Nice warm up for the shoulders as we release the back and release the hips. Good. Now why don't we take a down dog just to let everything get long and stretched out. Just curl the toes, lift the hips. Explore the body. How's your hips feel? Little movement in the hips with a little walk the dog. And then walk the feet forward. Just step right, left, right until you come up to the front of the mat in a little forward bend. I like to widen my feet here, soften my knees, and let the back stretch out. Begin to bring some energy into the back of the legs. Let the head drop. Now from this little dangle here, I'm going to try to bring it into the squat. I can't remember if you have any knee issues, but if you widen your legs, give yourself a little external hip rotation. So our toes are sort of at an angle out, and then bend the knees. See how we do. See where you can get to. Can you come down into a squat? Good. Yep, you can anchor here. Pull at those knees. Little external rotation. Good job. I'm going to come back to a forward bend. The feet will naturally want to come parallel to even out, neutralize those hips. And to get an internal hip rotation, what I'm going to suggest is that we take the right leg and actually aim it across, this little cross behind the left leg. Do you see me? So legs are crossed like that. Yep. Yours might not go too far, it doesn't matter. Just keep the forward bend, however you can get to with that cross leg. Right leg back. And then let it come back to neutral and take the left leg the same way. If you can get it across the body behind. There you go. Forward bend. Oh. So that's really worked our hip. Come back to neutral. Kind of your foot forward. Everything's straight. Soften the knees and roll up. Good job. And we'll flow here to get our energy going. Sort of paying attention to the alignment of the hips and what that does in our poses. So here we are in mountain. Feet can be hip width. Nice straight spine, shoulders relaxed. Arms sort of energetically reaching to the floor. Take your in-breath, let the arms float up. Out breath, arms come out like nice forward dive. Here you go. Wherever you get to in your full forward bend, support yourself. Maybe your hands are on your shin. Lift the spine into a half forward bend, getting as long as it can. Nice. And then we're going to let the hands come down. Even if we have to bend our knees, we're going to step the right leg back into a lunge. We're just going to enjoy this lunge for a minute. Pressing into that back foot, back toe, nice and curled. Opening those energetic lines. And letting the hips sink between the legs. Just to your degree. We'll plant our hands, let the leg come back, and find our plank. I'm not going to work the arms as much as I did last week, Carl. Yeah, drop the knees and just lower down to the ground. Let's do a floating cobra here. Floating cobra is where we raise the chest. We're not using arm strength. We're just letting the back lift the chest forward. Let the hands float to the side. Very healthy for strengthening the back. Come on down. Curl the toes. Lift the hips. Find your down dog. Body's warming up. Everything's getting longer, more open. That right leg's gonna come into a lunge. It's gonna come into the chest, plant between those front hands. The left leg follows. Find our forward bend. And then find your breath and let your arms float up, coming out to the sides. The palms can touch, so that feels good. To really lift the spine. We'll do one more just like that. A couple rounds of the Surya Namaskar, warming all the joints in the body. Find your in-breath, arms come up. Look up at the tip of your neck. Forward bend. Nice long spine, half forward bend. Plant the hands, find your lunge. So the left leg comes back this time. We're just gonna open that back hip. We're letting the weight of the body come between those legs. A couple breaths. Good. Find your plank. Knees up or knees down. A little bit chest between the hands. Come on all the way down to the floor. And float that cobra one more time, just letting the back lift in its own strength. Couple breaths. Press the hands back down, curl the toes. Find your down dog. Separating everything here. The hands are pressing, the shoulders are lifting. Heels are coming to the floor and the buttocks is coming to the sky. So everything's getting as long as we can in this version. Down dog. And make our way into the left leg forward lunge. job. And then right leg comes forward, back to our forward bend. Find your breath, let the arms come up. One round of Surya Namaskar that's touched all of our joints and gotten us into our breath. You know, the yoga poses themselves, because they take concentration, bring us into presence. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do some variations of a standing series, kind of from Surya Namaskar B. It starts in a chair, so find your feet nice and planted, hips are nice and neutral, lifting through the spine, and find this contrary energies as we let our hips come down, the arms come up. And so we've got up energy and out energy going at the same time. There you go, beautiful. Then come into the forward bend. Hands to the floor, right leg back. We're just getting into plank, left leg back. Knee up or knee down. Come on down to the floor, chaturanga. This time we're going to use a little bit of hands to support the chest, support the back bend of your choice. Low cobra, medium cobra, whatever feels good. Down dog. We won't hold it here. We're going to let that right leg come forward between the hands. Send energy down into the back leg. We're using both legs to let ourselves rise up into warrior one. Just come on up, keep that front leg bent. Yep, that's beautiful. Warrior one. Back down to the lunge. Find your plank. Good. Chaturanga down. Use the arms to support, lifting the chest, back bend, curl the toes, down dog. Now we're going to come to the warrior one on the other side. Take your time, find your alignment. Yep. Rise up. Come on, back down. These are kind of single breath moves, even if it takes us more than one breath. We're thinking smooth. Last chaturanga. Back bend, high cobra, up dog, whatever feels good. Curl the toes. In this down dog, we're going to just take a few breaths. Really paying attention to all the joints that are getting touched and activated. Shoulders, wrists, heels, legs, and hips. And we're going to make our way to the front of the mat. I'm just going to walk. Let my hips take some of the action of walking forward between the legs. Here, Carl, we're going to come up into chair. So last time we sat into chair, here we're going to bend our knees and rise up into chair. There we are. Good job. We're going to play with this balance here a little bit. In chair, both of our legs are pressing into the floor. See if you can send the energy down the left leg, sort of empty the energy in the right leg, and lift it. Can you lift it? Can you get it on your knee?
Lord, I can get my weight off, and I don't know if I can do that.
Okay. See where we are. What I wanted us to do is the single leg chair. Kind of looks like this little Buddha. Good job. Let it come back down. See if you can keep in the chair in the left leg and just straighten the right leg. Feel how that psoas, that same muscle we worked on the ground, has to lift that leg. I'm cheating. I'm actually holding onto a wall here because I can't talk and balance. So if you need a chair or a wall, feel free to move over there. And then let that leg come back. We're going to go into warrior 3. So that's it. Really challenging our hips in balance. Back up. We'll end in chair. And just stand on up. Yeah, shake it out. So we're adding hip work to this flow. If we need to modify, we will. This is just my planned flow, but we'll see how it goes on this side. We sit into chair. Forward bend. And go through the flow for a minute. Half forward bend. Left leg back. Right leg back. Lower to the floor. Back bend of choice. Down dog. Left leg's gonna come through. We're gonna come into our warrior bend. You got it. Let the body rise up. Yeah, in this warrior position. So the back leg's taken. Yes, perfect. There's a warrior 1. Back down. Find our plank. Lower down. Back bend. Down dog. Just breathe. The next exhale, see if you can find that left leg forward lunge. Yep. Let the right leg come to meet. Using your hand for support. And rise up to chair. We'll try that little balance flow on this side. So here's our chair. Even energy in right and left foot. Consciously change the energy into being in our right leg. See if we can lift the left leg. It was hard for you to get the leg all the way up. But yeah, as long as you've got that knee out, that's your external rotation. Then let that leg come through, straighten the standing leg. Hold that leg forward. This can be at the hips, if that helps. And then let that leg come back. I think I lost movement on your video. Yeah, you got it. It came back. There you go. Perfect. Now see if you can bring it forward again. Knee can raise up as you, yes. And then back to chair. So drop the leg. And come on up. So shake out. Tough little balance sequence there. And kind of keeping with that hip work and how it supports Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take those energies in the hips. See if we can come to tree with all that activation. So tree pose, we often think about lifting the right leg high. I don't want to start there. I want to start with that energetic through the hip, finding the balance and just letting the right leg float. Just make sure you're stable on one leg, no matter how low or high. Then externally rotate the knee and see where it goes. It might be kind of low. It might be on the floor. It might be just up to, yeah, beautiful. Anywhere but at the knee. And we're so stable, we can play with our arms. They can come to namaste. They can rise up. Very nice. And then just let that knee come forward, neutralizing that hip. And come on down. Shake it out. It really asks a lot of our standing leg. Ground into the right leg. Check our balance. Open the knee, find that external hip rotation. Yeah. And it's just gonna come up as far as it can go with the strength of our hip flexors. Perfect, Carl. Check your balance. You can lift the arms or let them stay. Just really, as we breathe and send energy down that standing leg, that's the work. Let that hip neutralize and let it come down. So I'm sure you've done tree a million times. It's interesting that the limit of tree for many of us is that external hip rotation. That's what it's asking us to do. Now, another standing pose that works hips in the opposite way is eagle pose, which asks us to have an internal hip rotation of the working leg. So we're going to send energy down the left leg. Let that right leg empty and float, and then bring it across the body and try to sit into kind of that chair. Classic eagle, the right arm's going to come under the left. Yeah. And just notice the hips here. How that top hip is trying to work itself in and across the body. Good. You can bend into it a little bit if you can. And squeeze that inner thigh. Leg against leg. And then just let the eagle fly out. Finish. We'll do that on the other side. Lots of ways to get into this. Sometimes I like to just take a moment, really find my hip on that standing leg. So nothing's loose, the hip's not out or in, nice and straight and lifted. Once I find that, I can begin the wrap on the other side. So the left leg is trying to wrap around the right leg, left arm under the right arm. You're just folding in to the center of the body. Very nice. And then just let it unwrap and fly out. Good job. Let's come to the floor, kind of rest that standing hip for a minute. We'll do some stretches. Exploring that internal, external rotation. This pose is called Janushirshasana, the one where the right leg is going to come in to the inside of the leg. The left leg stays kind of straight. Yep. Now yours may not come in all the way to the groin, but notice as soon as we do that and let that knee fall out, That's externally rotating that socket in the hip. So you found your place. We're gonna just forward bend over that leg, over that straight leg. Lock yourself down to some comfortable long spine position, extending out of that hip. Now eventually your back might get tired of being long. You can round the spine, let the body just fall more like a forehead to knee. Just relax and breathe there. Letting that right hip just find its maximum rotation towards the floor. Might not ever get there, but it's healthy to keep that mobility here. Okay, we're gonna come out. We'll just use our hands to walk ourselves up. So this right hip is, externally rotated. We're gonna internally rotate it by bringing the knee forward and the foot back. It's kind of a little half saddle. Now everybody's different here. So some people can do this pose with their knees almost together. Can you sit down at all?
As far as she goes.
Okay. Come to just straight leg forward. I want to check out what's going on with the hip. We'll find a modification. So we don't want to work muscle here. We want to work joint. So when you go to bring this leg to the side, can you do anything like that even if this hip comes up? So I'm trying to get my heel back. That's internally not so much, huh? Okay. We are not going to do this set then. What happens is if the hip doesn't tolerate that internal rotation, you can put strain on the knee. It's not worth it. Try it with your other hip, just see if they're different. All of our sides are different. Kind of roll onto your right. So stay sitting, Carl.
Oh.
Stay sitting. So legs are forward. Roll onto the right. Here you go. Then see how much the leg will come to the side with the heel back. That's it, huh? Okay. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I thought maybe on one side, but that's okay. Let's just come down to our back. We're going to work. It's funny, yoga should work both external and internal hip rotations. You've got a lot of good external rotation. Internal rotation, not so much. So I'm going to put that in my little notebook, and we'll work a little bit more internal rotation in easier standing postures. We already did it a little bit in eagle. It asked her to go across. This also asked you to go across, but this is too much opening through here. So I'll look into how we can get there. So go ahead and come onto your back. There you go. Just let your knees bend, your hips. Your heels are just up by your hips. Just take this as a constructive rest for a minute on those hips. Now I'm going to watch you do this. This is a very gentle, passive internal hip rotation. Walk your feet wide, a little bit wider, and let your knees aim together as if they could touch. Okay, that's good. That's actually quite a bit of internal rotation. So this is a restful version of an internal hip rotation. Sometimes we call this TP. It should feel good. Not too strong, Carl? Just lie there like that?
Fine.
Okay, good. Now, we can explore here a little bit. The feet are wide, the knees are coming together. See if you can let the right knee come a little bit further down. So you're kind of rolling, yes, onto the inside of the foot. Yep. And then let it come back up and let the left knee do the same thing. So there's this little windshield action. Take it right and left. I think this is a really good one for your hips because you've got actually quite a bit of internal rotation there. Back and forth a few times, very nice. I like this. I think therapeutically, if your hips start feeling strained during the day, this would be a good thing to just lie on your back and do this little windshield. Preserve that mobility. Yes, and your hips coming up, that's fine. I like this for you. Should feel good. Okay, good. Go ahead and come neutral. Maybe bring your feet a little more parallel in line with the hips. I'm going to take the right leg and I'm going to see if we can get us into an external rotation here. The outside of the right foot is coming onto the left thigh. So it's like the little, yes, it's like the little three-legged, the single leg chair that we were doing, the hips out. Now if you press the right foot into the thigh, just a little, you'll pulse that hip open, yes. This is also very good therapy for you, I think. Without the aggravation of having to balance, you're getting your maximum external rotation here. I like this for you. Now we'll take it the next step, but you're going to stop anytime you need to, where you let the left foot come up. See if you can thread your arms through that little triangle and pull that left knee towards the chest. It's going to open that hip a little bit more. It might be too much. Just see if you have any pulsing action you can do there to ease. Yeah. Just breathe there for a minute, kind of give your max rotation. Let that left foot come back to the floor. We're going to just give ourselves a little hamstring stretch here. Undo the cross and let the leg stretch up towards the ceiling. Getting that back of the leg long. You can hold on to something to help you keep the leg up. So you can just breathe those muscles in the back of the leg open. Just find wherever back of the thigh or the calf. Just see if you can get some release in the back of that leg. And just because we're here, let's do some ankle rolls. While we're breathing that leg long, just make nice slow circles with the ankles. As if you're drawing on the ceiling. Slower is better. Nice full circles in one direction. And then nice full circles in the other direction. I like to end this with a little bit of a strong yang style stretch where I let my forehead come towards the knee, let the shoulders come off the floor. See if that works for you. See if you can get close to the knee and then let that leg put down, and we'll do that hip and leg stretch on the other side. So we start constructive rest, our heels are just, knees are bent, heels are just where they need to be. Then we take that side of the left foot and make that little triangle, that little tree pose shape. And sometimes this is all I do. this version where the hips are both on the floor, and I can just put a little bit of pressure into that left foot. You should feel the hip opening with just that pressure. And for some of us, this is the best part of this stretch. External hip rotation. No pressure in the back. There's no requirement to balance. There you go, beautiful. Now, if you feel okay there, you thread your arms through, and we just increase and change the stretch a little bit, letting the right knee come towards the chest. Sort of changes the peak part of the pose away from the hip socket itself into the IT band muscle on the outside of the hip. Both are good. So if that feels okay, just breathe there a few times. Good. And then let it come. Let the feet come down, and we'll stretch. We'll do a leg stretch in this position. So right knee's bent, left foot comes up towards the ceiling. Doesn't matter if the knee's perfectly straight. We're trying to get hamstring and calf, as long as they can be, you've got your foot flexed, that's good. It increases the stretch through the back of the leg. And then do those little ankle circles. Kind of teach your mind off the deep stretch. It's also very good for the ankle. A few in one direction, a few in the other direction. Nice slow circles. We're always kind of looking for where in the joint we have a little bit of tightness, and you just slow it down. And then that last little movement where we lift the forehead towards the knee, grab onto where you can, just release the back, or release that whole superficial long muscle on the back of the leg. And then come on down. Carl, I can't remember, I'd like to do a little inversion here. Do you do shoulder stand?
Yeah, no problem.
No problem, okay. Go ahead and make your way to your shoulder stand. Let's get that blood pumping. With gravity, nice. You can support your back, yes. Very nice. Just hang out there for a minute. Reverses a lot of the pressures on the spine. Releases the hips into the hip socket. The femur into the hip socket, I should say. Now before we come out, we can try a little plow from this position. You can just let the legs look back over the head, being careful with your neck. Pretend you can touch your feet to the floor. It doesn't matter if they get there. Yeah. There you go. Perfect! Yeah, perfect plow. All good shoulder work. Good compression on the throat. Some of the chakra there really likes this kind of compression. And then we'll ease out of the pose. A couple ways to do it. You look so comfortable, I'm going to ask you to try this way of, can you grab onto the legs from this position? Yep, perfect. And use that little bit of arm against the legs to roll the back down to the floor in a controlled roll. Or however you need to. There you go. That's it, that's it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice controlled way, and another little work on the spine. Let's just twist it out. Here we're gonna let our arms come out to the side. Little T position. Let the right leg be long on the mat. Bring that left knee towards the chest and then over to the right side. Yeah, there you go. And you'll just find a place to relax Might be on the bottom leg, it might be on the floor, up or down a little bit. Experiment with what feels best on the spiral of the spine. Don't be afraid to lift that left hip. You might get that knee a little bit further down by not forcing that hip onto the floor. There you go. That's a good twist for you, I think. Just breathe there for a few breaths. And then release, come back to neutral hips. Straighten out that left leg. Bend the right knee and just repeat that on the other side. So find that little side twist. Let the right hip come off the floor. The knee goes towards the ground. That looks like a good angle for you. If that right shoulder is nice and flat, which it looks like it is, you're getting a nice spiral to the back and a release of that outside hip. And then just release the pose. We're gonna head towards Shavasana, so check in, make sure your back's feeling good. You might do a little knee squeeze. Letting that low back release. And then little by little, let the legs come along on the mat. Let all the muscle go. Not holding anything up. The feet are just flopping to wherever they want to flop. Same with the arms. The arms come away from the body. And you just find that total space of doing absolutely nothing. Some area of tension comes into your awareness. So you can breathe it, release it. Just gradually come back into a normal rhythm of the breath, taking a little bit deeper inhale. A little bit deeper exhale. And on your next sip of inhale, just roll to one side. We're going to try to come back to seated position as gently as we can, just using the arms to lift up. Thanking our hips for all that work. Thanking ourselves for coming to the mat, having this time together. We'll close with an Om. See if we can do it together on this distant method. Take a nice in breath. Very nice. Namaste.